Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome back to Rogue to High Rated. I believe we are in episode 12. I know it's been a little while since the last episode, but I think I mentioned a few episodes back that these episodes are going to be spaced out quite a bit, just because I only have a limited number of episodes and replays to go over. Haven't had a lot of time to play Speedroid on the ladder, as I've been playing another deck, Swordsoul, in preparation for YCS, doing a lot of YCS testing. So yeah, haven't had time to grind with both decks right now. It's kind of one or the other at the moment. But this is a pretty cool matchup because I'm sure you guys can already tell by the title, it's Speedroid versus Swordsoul. So I can definitely provide a lot more input to the opponent's deck and also my own. And there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out right now. And I want to address this too, because I know there's a lot of decks people want to see from me, regarding new support. Marincess, we're going to be having new Marincess support soon. Can't wait to cover that. The new Earth Machine stuff is literally right around the corner. My brother's going to possibly be playing that for the YCS, so I'll be able to get my hands on this sort of new variant of Earth Machine. A little bit different than what I'm used to, the classical Earth Machine, right, that we all know, the Dozer control variant. And also Speedroid. I would like to get a guide out for the TCG, not Master Duel, because I just not rocking with Master Duel right now. It's just really not for me. Even though they did bring in the new Speedroid cards, but gonna be getting all that in the works. It's just right now there's sort of other things on my plate, and I don't have a lot of time to get these videos done, especially since a lot of my time each day is being taken up by a lot of testing. We're going serious right here, okay? We're not messing around. Well, let's hop right into this one. We have Rodrigo Graciotto with 599 rating versus me with 487 rating. Recorded a while ago. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We're going to see me win the rock, paper, scissors, and my opponent is going to be going second here. Opening hands, we have Permanent Butterfly, Effect Veiler, Gozen Match, Imperm, and Tekatomborg. To my opponent's E-Telly, Ecclesia, Imperm, Blackout, and Adara. The interesting thing about both these decks, this match probably played out like a month and a half ago or something. Maybe like almost 2 months ago. But really not much has changed for Swordsoul. Like, I can tell this is probably the Hulk build. Not much has changed. Like, Swordsoul really hasn't evolved so much over the past couple months. It's a relatively solved deck, which is kind of nice. Same thing with Speedroid. A lot of people have been asking for updated profiles, and I will get one out. I want to get a guide out with it too, and a lot of combos. So I've been doing a lot of prep in the background for that. At least a month or so ago, I've had stuff started back then, and I can pick up where I left off. Yeah, so this is where I'm maining the Gozen match still, which honestly would probably still main Gozen match if I play the deck competitively right now. Have to test it, of course, but this card's pretty good in this format. So we open up two going second cards and a decent amount of engine. We're going to start with the Primitive Butterfly, and I normal summon the Tekatomborg here. Now, the reason I do this is because Tekatomborg's effective special summon is a hard once per turn. Well, his effective special summon himself is not a hard once per turn. Like, it's weird and wordly, right? Because it says if you control one monster, special summon this card from your hand. That's it. And the bottom says you can only special summon Speedroid Tekatomborg once per turn. So, like, yeah. In fact, like, you can only special summon one time. And right now, I don't have, like, a good normal summon in hand. And, this deck has multiple ways to normal summon because of the link. So, if I spec the Tekatomborg right now and go into our Brand Shooter and gets, like, let's say I get Terror Top, right? I can add Tekatomborg off of it, which is probably, like, the best thing to do in that scenario, since Tekatomborg is just the best extender. But then I can't special summon it because I already used his effective special summon. I guess at that point, I could use my regular normal summon, but, like, it really doesn't make too big of a difference all around. I guess this way I just get more mileage out of the Tekatomborg. So, like, I guess it doesn't make too big of a difference, and I don't think there's any harm in throwing out a normal summon. Like, again, Tekatomborg is a very, like, a card, I guess I should rephrase it, like a card that has a lot of utility outside of just being a win extender. There's a lot of things you can do. Tribute effects, not once per turn. You normal it, go into your combo and then search on the limit, spec it later, use this effect again, right? I think it's just a little bit more optimal. So we're going to use the effect here, and my opponent has nothing for that. Obviously, they do not have an imperm or anything. I'm going to go get Duke out of the deck, and we're just going to go ahead and link 2 here into the Rubber Band Shooter. Activate effect, banishing Chanbara as cost, reveal both Marble and Terror Top. My opponent's going to go ahead and hit it with an imperm, and unfortunately, this is just a weak hand, and we don't have much extension here, but we do have imperm, Goes, and Valor, which is like all pretty fantastic cards against the Sword. So, my opponent's going to draw Ashina for turn, special summon out the Ashina, and then on summon, I'm going to go ahead and flip up the Gozen match here. I think it's best to Gozen match Swordsoul when they put a Tenyi on board. You don't want to let them get a Monk on board. Because then if they have a shooter, they can just banish from hand and return the Gozen and keep playing. And you just lose out on a ton. So they either have to start by preemptively playing around it by starting with Adara. And they have to have a shooter at that point. So you put them on having exactly 2 cards. But if they start like any other way, if they start Bashuda, if they start Adara, they start Moyi, Long Yun, right? Like Gozen match on the first thing is like always really, really good. So I do go ahead and Gozen, and he does have the Ecclesia, which happens to be a light here too, which is kind of cute. He'll just go battle phase, run over the Rubber Band Shooter. That's completely fine. And he could have kept going with the E-Telly, but I can see why he didn't. Or no, he couldn't. That's a Gozen match. I don't know what am I saying. Okay. Either way, he's gonna set the Blackout, which is actually insane that he hard opened the Blackout. Can I just go ahead and say that first of all? The fact that he hard opened Blackout here is kind of insane for him. I do top deck Wheel. We will activate that. There's really no reason not to. And hopefully we just roll above it too. And we do. So at this point, we're going to get Card Turbo and Dice. Yeah, anytime I roll a 4, I pretty much always go for 2 bodies unless I absolutely cannot. And when you roll a 4, you're always going to be getting Dice in a level 3. I guess technically sometimes you can go for double Marble Machine, but I think that's just like almost just as bad as summoning out just Piper. So we get ourselves a damage boost in the grave, plus a very useful tuner extender to be brought out off of Dice, off of Duke. And this is also going to get us right into the Rubber Band Shooter. And I'm very curious as to why I didn't link into Rubber Band Shooter first, unless the replay is like kind of glitched out. Let's see here, Special Summon, Speedroid, Red Eye, Die. Oh, okay, you know what I think this is? Okay, so again, this match played a long time ago. I think this is when I was trying out one Rubber Band Shooter, and as you'll see here, this is why I passed turn, because I thought I would be cool playing one Rubber Band Shooter. And this was just some testing that I was doing. I do not recommend playing one Rubber Band Shooter. I would not play one Rubber Band Shooter now, 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now. I would not play one Rubber Band Shooter, okay? Like, this card is definitely something that belongs at 2. As you can see, the second one does up. Now, does the second one make it so I keep playing? Not necessarily, because my opponent has Blackout. Like, let's say, best case scenario, I do have the second Rubber Band Shooter. I link for it, unsummon, Blackout, pop Gozen match, pop Rubber Band Shooter. I still end my turn just the same. So, like, you know, it didn't really matter here, but there's tons of other situations I've encountered where it definitely does matter. So I'm not trying to say, like, the second one, like, doesn't come up and you don't need it, but you definitely do need it. Bad not to play. 2. And my opponent's going to actually hit both of the backer here, and I just go ahead and decide to scoop. Because, like, the bodies on field aren't doing anything, and they're probably getting boxy back anyways next turn. So we're on to game 2 here. My decision here is to go first, obviously. Opening hands, my opponent has Ecclesia, Ashina, Double Ash, and E-Telly. We have Butterfly, Duplicate, Card Turbo, Recovery, and Ash. So we basically have one going second card here and another nice defensive card in the form of Duplicate. Also, one thing too I want to mention, because I've opened this card both games 1 and 2. Primitive Butterfly versus Wandering Griffin Rider. Jokes aside, you know, I don't think Griffin Rider is getting banned on the upcoming Forbidden Limited list. I great if it did because it applies that engine. But right, that's probably not going to happen, most likely. So the reason why I personally would play Primitive Butterfly, and I know there's a lot of people out there that play Griffin, and other people that play Hasty Horse, which I don't really fully understand, but I digress. Butterfly I like a lot because not only is it good for going first, but it is great for going second because it can just be a level 5 body with like Car Turbo to be able to go into Kite Drake, which on a ton of pressure immediately. And then if it gets stopped, if it hits the grave, right, go ahead and Surge Attack. It's just a Black Rose Dragon immediately. Turn. And going first, you can make very early Barons with it. If you see Butterfly and Tekatomborg, if you see Butterfly and Marble Machine, if you see Butterfly and Terror Top, all of these cards can enable you, can enable you to get to a very, very early Baron de Fleur. Now, the other thing with Griffin Rider is Griffin Rider works to make Baron with both Tekatomborg, Car Turbo, Terra Top, as well as Hound. So it works with all the same cards, plus it also works for Hound because you can dump trap, summon gate, make Cork Shooter, search gate, make Baron. Like that's something you can do, which is kind of cool. But the Butterfly play I like a lot more sometimes, specifically with Marble Machine and I guess Tekatomborg as well, or even Terror Toppers, right? You can summon out Piper, and Piper can excavate you a few cards that help you keep extending past that play. And then you just use Butterfly's effect to make himself 6 with his level manipulation effect. And then you synchro into Baron. But like, they both get into Baron very quickly, and they both do it with, it's always a 2-card combo, and they pretty much always do it with the same set of 2 cards. I feel like Butterfly, though, with it being level 6, gives you the opportunity to see a little bit more advantage off of it because of something like Piper. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and say that really quickly. So, and this card is also good against, you know, certain decks going second because its effective summons not once per turn. So you can summon it, threaten something, like, you know, technically main one, like an IP Masquerena or a Heavenly Dragon Circle. Not Heavenly Dragon Circle, Heavenly Dragon Spheres. You know, Dragon Link. So, Spec Butterfly, Spec Car Turbo here. Then we're going to go ahead and link those two off, obviously, into Rubber Band Shooter. Effect, banish a 6 here. And my opponent is going to Ash. So, yeah. That one is kind of rough. And I wanted to go for a 6 here. Because I do have the recovery. So this is one of those plays where if I get Hound and Terror Top goes to the grave, the recovery is like a huge boost in the back pocket. Like keep extending past interruption. My opponent, again, has the Ash, and I did not open up any other extenders. Like, I mean, I technically did open up another extender, but like it doesn't really get me to much. And we still open another, like, you know, 2 defensive cards here, which is fine. My opponent's going to draw an Ecclesia for turn. He's just not opening up super well. Yeah, like Ecclesia, as many of you probably know, is an outright Ash magnet. Yeah, so like it's like there's not a lot of good things to Ash against Swordsoul, but Ecclesia is like one of the best. Vessel, you could argue, is another good Ash. But he's gonna start with Ashina, and then I believe he E-Tellies here, which is an interesting play. I can totally see why he does this. He's trying to get access to Chao Fang, because Chao Fang actually has an effect, and a lot of people forget this. Do not forget this card does this. It says, once per turn, when a monster or monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, right? So it doesn't even have to be Chao Fang, and I'm learning something new right now, because I thought Chao Fang had to destroy, but it says once per turn, when a monster or monsters your opponent controls is destroyed by battle, or it's card effect too? Man, I'm just embarrassing myself here, but either way, you can special summon a worm monster from your deck in defense position whose original attribute matches the original attribute that one of those destroyed monsters had on the field. So he can go battle phase and run over my Rubber Band Shooter, and that gets him access to Taya, which gets him to Chi-Jiao, and then the Ecclesia goes in as a normal summon, and that gets Mo-Yi, and then everything just kind of spirals out of control. So to be totally honest, I don't think I recognize that as a threat at this point in time, solely because I didn't know, like a lot of people, that Chao Fang has 3 effects. Kind of crazy. So, I mean, the main reason I'm going to make the play I'm about to make is strictly because I need to let this rubber band shooter stick. If rubber band shooter goes, it's not the end of the world because I can recovery it back, but I'd rather hold the recovery for something else. So we're going to duplicate, banish butterfly, bounce back the Chow Fang. And that's good too because it won't be on field for me to like have to worry about popping it. And if it gets popped, he searches a tuner, which is really bad because that gets a hand trap. Then he's going to normal Ecclesia. Ecclesia is going to get Ash, and then he is going to pass turn. And we draw a Marble Machine, which is really, really good because we have basically 3 ways to play here. We have Rubber Band Shooter effect to get us something, we have Marble Machine effect to get us something, and we have Recovery as backup as well to like bring out Car Turbo. And then we can use Duplicate on Car Turbo, and then we can link into the Auroradon, and then sync with the tokens and the Duplicate into like a Baron, right? We have a lot of plays to be able to make here. So we're gonna start with just, you know, simple normal summon Marble Machine here. My opponent doesn't Ash this, which is interesting, and he also doesn't Ash Tekatomborg. I've said this a lot in the past. Tekatomborg is one of the best things to Ash in Speedroid still. But even if he did Ash the Tekatomborg, preventing me from getting to the Duke, he's still getting OTK'd regardless, because what happens is I recovery out the Car Turbo, Synchro for Chambra, like we're doing now, and then we use the effective Car Turbo now that's back in the grave to banish it in the Tekatomborg, and then we go ahead and that's just game. Like this is going to gain 800, this is gaining 800, and attack, effect gain 200, that's 3k, and then attack again, effect gain 200, that's 32, and then that puts him at exactly 18, which is exact game, and we didn't even... And yeah, that's game 2. Moving on to game 3 here, my opponent is obviously going to want to go first. Opening hands, we have Wheel, Ash, Car Turbo, Marble Machine, and Imperm. So 2 going second cards here against E-Telly, Vishuda, Adara, E-Telly, and a Pointer of the Red Lotus. Kind of an interesting card in the side. He opened no Swordsoul cards here, which is kind of rough, and also no Ashina either. I'm pretty sure he's just going to go for like Baron Health, which is what he's going to do. So he's going to spec Vishuda, activate E-Telly, summon out Ghost Ogre, and Synchro 10 for Baron. Probably could have done like a lot of... I don't know, this is such a weird hand. What he could have done... Well, one thing is for sure... I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, this hand is so awkward. I was going to say, you could have spec Vishuda, made Monk, spec Adara, make Hulk. That's definitely getting hand trapped. Probably ashing it. He has a Swordsoul. No. Yeah, I mean, as janky as this is, I think this is probably the safest thing. It just burns a ton of... He's going to normal summon the Adara, and I go Ash on Hulk. And he chains the Baron, as you would expect, right? Because this is his only play. And to be totally honest, if I were him, I would not even have bothered negating the Ash. I would just let the Ash go through. Ash, because now you're ending on a board of 0 interruptions for next turn. Well, I guess technically not. Like, he could bring back Ghost Ogre in standby phase, but he opts not to do that. And he just has a pointer. And... I'm gonna let this here resolve, and he's gonna go, I think, on activate a pointer. And the funny thing, like, my hand is absolutely stacked right now. I would be fine with losing any single one of these cards, and he goes in and decides to get rid of the Tekatomborg, which like actually just doesn't matter. So this is just gonna be game here. Not very difficult to get through this. Summon out Car Turbo, and then we're just gonna go for the Rubber Band Shooter here. Banishing a 6, get access to both Terratop and the dog. Dog here, Terratop goes to the grave, activate Wheel, discarding Duke. Hopefully we roll something good here. We roll a 6. So. Yeah, so we're gonna go for Piper and Barball. I was gonna say that's probably what I would go for too right now, because like I already have Car and Duke and Grave, and since we don't have Tekatomborg access necessarily this turn, this is our only way to Piper. So getting access to that way by doing a 2 and 4 makes the most sense. Effect, go ahead and send the Red Eye die. Duke effect, go ahead and summon out dice. And yeah, we don't even really need to resolve Piper here anyways. Fork shooter effect, revive the materials, and I think my opponent's just sticking around here just to like see if I can actually make a game. Go ahead and make that a 4, so we can go for Higoita. Gonna Synchro for Crystal Wing, Higoita effect Engrave. That's gonna go ahead and bring itself out, and we're gonna go ahead and Synchro 6 for Stardust Charge Warrior effect, draw a card, draw Imperm, Card Turbo effect, boost everything up by 800, and yeah, this is just game. Yeah, and also Higoita on field, like I could have made Shen, but I don't think Shen actually probably would have been game, because yeah, I mean, if I go for Shen, it's a little awkward, right? Because I still have a Marble Machine that's just kind of left over on field. So I guess it's better that I did what I did, because this gives me like an extra card in hand to work. Huge, because if some reason that game, top deck of Swordsoul, Imperm just clears it up. GG's. And then, yeah, that's going to do it. So that's going to do it for this episode of Rogue to High Rated, episode 12. Speedroid, easily capable of taking down Swordsoul tactic. I mean, granted, he didn't know. Oh, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up at the bottom of the screen right now. As always, WinnerKills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And last but not least, a huge thank you goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Tweeter0226, Pony Stark, Cadillacs84, Key Sidger, Justin Lamb, Master of Isa, and HTH Cyber. Thank you guys so much for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.